So, hello everyone, welcome to Triaright. This is Pack 365. Myself, Sujit. So, in this session, we are going to learn what is the concept of OOPS that's available in our object-oriented programming. So, guys, as of now, in our OOPS series, we are already complete how to create class, how to create object, then what is called our state and functionality that's available. Each and everything we are already completing. Then what is called our concept? So mainly our object oriented programming will stand about our four pillars. Okay, the four pillars are encapsulation, polymorphism, inheritance, and abstraction. So we are trying to dealing with more about that. Whenever we are trying to write any OOPS concept, it will be mainly based on these four pillars only. So first I am trying to write all the four pillars. So first one called our encapsulation. Okay. So encapsulation. Second one called our polymorphism. Okay. How to create each and everything, then what is the advantages, each and everything in this session only we are trying to discuss. Okay. Polymorphism. Then the next one be called our inheritance. Okay. Inheritance. And the fourth one called our abstraction. Then how it will be helpful in our Python concept, each and everything we are trying to see now. So for this session, we are trying to use our encapsulation concept to understand. Okay. So guys, what is encapsulation in the real time also? If I try to take the example, each and everything we are trying to complete in this session. Okay. So guys, suppose if you have a fever, then you can directly go to doctor, and doctor also provide that you need to take capsule. Okay. Suppose if I try to take the capsule example, so inside this capsule there are so many elements are there, means all the elements are wrapped together into a capsule. Just like that, here also in our Python, encapsulation says that wrapping the data members and the method into a single unit. Okay, just like in your encapsulation also same. Then what is the use case of this one will be, the main use of encapsulation is to provide the security for data members and method. Means whenever we are trying to take this capsule, it will give us the relief, just like our security to our body. Just like in our Python also, we are trying to give the security to our data members and method. Okay, then how to give the security? By the help of our three access specifier or three access modifier. So these three access specifier are public, protected, and private. Okay. So as of now, we are trying to write some theoretical point. Then using these three access specifier, we are trying to write some code, because this OOPS only based on our Python class and object. Okay. So now we are trying to write some theoretical point. So what is called our encapsulation? So encapsulation says that wrapping the, okay, so wrapping the data members, okay, wrapping the data members and methods into a single unit, is called, encapsulation. Okay, encapsulation. Then the main use of encapsulation is to provide security, provide security, okay, security to data member, okay, data member and methods. Okay, then how we can provide this security? The security is given with the help of, okay, the security is given with the help of, access specifier, okay, access specifier or modifiers. Okay, same means either we can say that access specifier or modifiers. Then in the access specifier there are three types. Okay, there are three access specifiers. So in the next page, I'll write. So there are three access specifiers are there. Okay. So the first one will be called our public. Okay. Public. Second one called our protected. Okay. Protected. Third one called our private. Okay. Private. So these are the three access specifier we are trying to give in the use case of our encapsulation. Okay. If the in the interview they will be asked why we are trying to use this encapsulation. So at that time you can say to hide the internal object detail. Okay. So why we use encapsulation for your interview if they're going to ask, because if I try to face any interview in the Python, they must ask the interview question for sure. Okay, so at that time you can say to hide internal detail. Okay, to hide internal object, because every time we are just try to create this object only, guys, right? So to hide the internal detail, then the next point to restrict. Okay, means we need to restrict direct access, because we are trying to provide some access specifier, or we can say that security. So to restrict direct access. Okay, direct access to variable or method. So guys, data members is nothing but variables. Okay, in the example we are trying to see more about that. Okay, then the next point will be to improve security. Okay, the next point will be to improve the security. Okay, so these are the point. If in the interview they will be asked what is the use case of our encapsulation, you can say this point. Okay, so then now we are trying to understand what is public access specifier, what is protected access specifier, then what is private access specifier. Okay, so to understand these things, now I am trying to take one more example. Okay, suppose guys, if we are taking the example of our Instagram. Okay, so in the Instagram there are three types of account, guys, right? Means if we have some account that publicly it will be going to available, means if I try to follow that person, or you can unfollow that person also, still you can see some post or video. Okay, so like that, this is called our public. Public means by default all the data members and the all the methods are treated like our public access specifier. So how to create this public access specifier, now we are trying to see now. So first point will be called our public access specifiers. Okay, every time we are just trying to use this concept to our encapsulation. So first we are trying to see in our VS Code, then only we can write our theoretical point. So now first I need to comment all the things related to our static method. Okay, yeah. So guys, every time we are, whenever we try to dealing with our oops concept, every time we are just try to create class and object. So here we are not taking that much of example, because it will be taking lot of time. So we are try to take little example to understand the concept in depth. Okay, so first, every time first, whenever we are try to create any object, first you need to give the class name. So here I'm giving my class name called our mock. Okay, so if I try to give the parenthesis, okay, if I'm not giving also, it's okay. But here we are trying to take some parameter. That's why here I am passing that particular parenthesis. Okay, so now here I don't want to create the uncommon property and common property. I just want to tell you how the encapsulation will be provide the security. Okay, so the first one will called our public. Public means anyone can use. Okay, so now here I am just trying to create data members and the method. So first, whenever I'm trying to create a data members, if I try to create a uncommon property, so every time we are just trying to create constructor. So here also we are trying to create that particular constructor. Okay, so here it will be taking one mandatory argument, and here I am assigning one value called our a, because we are trying to save some data. Okay, Now here after I am getting, I need to store, because without storing we cannot access more number of objects. If I are directly passing the value, it will be treated like a common property, but we are trying to take a uncommon property. So in this case, this A will be treated like a data members. Okay, so now we are trying to create a method. So here I am trying to create a method called method. And here I'm trying to create an object method, because I'm trying to create uncommon property. That's why here I'm trying to create this object method, because whenever we are trying to use our object method, we don't need to inherit. Okay, that's why here I'm using. So here it will be taking one mandatory argument. So now in this case, every time I just want to print that particular things, means I need to print this self A. Okay. So guys, as of now, we are trying to create a data members and a method. Now, how the security will be going to happen? Now we're trying to see. So to use any method or our data members, every time we are just trying to create a object. So how to create a object? By the help of our obj, means the object name. Then here you need to pass your class name. So here I am passing the class name. So whenever you are trying to create your uncommon property at the time of your object creation, you just need to pass your value. Suppose here if I am passing my value called our 5, means this 5 will be stored in our uncommon property. So now I just want to access that particular things. Okay, because we are trying to use the public access specifier. So here we are trying to use, because in our Python, if I try to access something in our class, so we have two options. Either we can use our object reference or class reference. So here also we are trying to use both the things. Okay. So here first I will be writing our object reference. So how to access that? So object one dot I need to access my method. Okay. So now if I'm trying to run this one, okay. So first it will be taking the data as 5. It will be assigning, or we can say that stored in my constructor, or we can say that in the memory. After it will be storing, I just need to call that, or we can say that access that particular thing. That's why whenever I'm trying to calling this, it will be directly giving the data from my database, or we can say that my constructor, and it will be printing. Now if I'm trying to use by the help of our class reference, it's possible or not. Now we are trying to see now. So now if I try to use my class reference, so first we are trying to provide the class name. Then here you need to provide your method name. After that, in the parenthesis, you need to provide one mandatory argument, that is called our object reference. So here my object reference will be obj1. Now if I'm trying to run this one, we can get same the data by the help of our object reference as well as the class reference. So we can say that whenever we are trying to create our public access specifier means we can access public specifier anywhere in the program, means we can use here, or if you are trying to create a module also we can create. So this is called our public access specifier that's available. So now I'm just trying to write some points. Okay. So by default, okay, by default, all the data members and the methods, okay, all the data members and the methods are public access specifiers only. Okay. Now, what is this one? We can say that we can access these specifier. Okay. These specifiers. Okay. These specifiers anywhere in the program. Anywhere in the program, just like our Instagram example also. Suppose if I'm trying to create a public account, means if you are follow that person, you can see all the data related to that particular person. If you are unfollow also, still you can use, because the main object, or we can say that the main customer will be set the account to be public. Then the next one will be called our, what is called our protected. Okay. So the next one will be called our protected access specifier. So how to do that? Now we are trying to see now. Okay. So yeah. So now the next one will be protected access specifier. So guys, what is protected? So guys, these access specifier, whenever we are trying to create these access specifier, we can use inside a package only. Means now I try to understand the package concept. Okay, we have already known that what is package, because in the previous session we are already know library, package and our module. So I will tell one more time. So guys, package is nothing but it is a collection of our module. Means whenever we are trying to create this file will be treated like a module. If I try to take 100 or 200 module, it will be creating a packages. So we can say that whenever we are trying to use our protected access specifier, so at that time we can access inside one packages only. If I try to create one more packages like our, we can say that library also, we cannot do that. But whenever we are trying to use this one, we can access inside a package. If I try to suppose, if I try to take the Instagram example, okay, if some accounts are means the protected, means they have that protected account, means if you have follow then only you can see. Okay, if they will be not accepting your account also, still you can get that. Okay, just like that the protected will be like that. This access specifier we can access inside a packages only. Okay, so now we are trying to create the same thing. Okay, we are trying to comment this thing. Now we are trying to use the protected. Okay, means inside the package only we are trying to use that. So how to represent? Because by default all the data members, all the method will be treated like my public access specifier. Then how to represent? Because if I try to again define the same way, then it will be treated like my public. But my requirement will be I want to use my protected. So to define this protected member, or we can say that protected method, so at that time you need to give a hyphen, or we can say that underscore. Okay, so now we are trying to use that particular thing. So here also I am taking the same class. Okay, mock I am taking. So I'm just trying to create a data member by the help of our def double underscore init double underscore self. So here also I'm trying to take a direct one called our self dot a equal to 200. Here I'm trying to give the data directly. Okay, so now I just want to use a extra called our underscore. Okay, if you are use single underscore, these data members are treated like our protected. Now we are trying to create a method also. So how to create method? By the help of our def, then you need to provide the method name. Here it will be taking one mandatory argument that is called self. Now I just want to print that particular thing. So here I need to print self dot underscore a. So now here I'm just accessing that value, or we can say that assigning the value. Now if I try to use the data members, or the, we can say that method, we are trying to create the object. So here I'm creating object called obj1, and I will be assigning the class name. After that, here I don't need to give the value because here I have already given that. So now my requirement will be, if I try to use that particular thing, because we are trying to use this data members and the method inside the packages only, so it will be possible. So now I just want to do the same thing. Okay, so first my requirement will be I want to use by the help of our object reference. So whenever we are trying to use this one, at that time also you need to use your underscore. Okay, because here we are trying to call your methods. Okay, so now if I try to call this one, guys, just see here we are not. Okay, if you are trying to specify fast, you need to give the underscore. Without underscore, this method will be treated like a public. But whenever you are trying to give one underscore, now it will be treated like a protected. So now if I try to run this one, so it will be give me 200, because we are trying to access inside this one, okay? But it will be not recommended because we are trying to use one only, we can get that, okay? Now if I'm trying to use the data members to print outside, it is possible or not? So by the help of our object reference, so obj, okay, obj1 dot underscore a, because we are trying to use a protected data members. So now if I'm trying to run this one, still it will be possible. So we can say that if we try to use our protected access specifier, at that time first you need to initialize the underscore. So this underscore will be specify that you are creating a data member as protected access specifier. Okay, so guys, that's all for this session. In the upcoming session, we'll try to write all the theoretical points that related to our protected access specifier. Then only we can discuss what is our private access specifier. Okay, so thanks for watching Triaright.